There is a moment in every life where something breaks. Not your body, not your circumstances. Your mind. It happens quietly. One doubt you didn't challenge. One excuse you allowed. One hard moment you avoided instead of facing. And slowly, almost invisibly, your confidence weakens. Your discipline erodes. Your standards drop. Until one day you wake up and realize something terrifying. You are no longer in control of your own mind. This audiobook exists for that moment, because today is not about motivation, it's not about hype, it's not about temporary inspiration that fades the moment life gets uncomfortable again. Today is about mental power, real power, the kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that doesn't collapse under pressure, the kind that makes people wonder how you stay calm while everything around you is falling apart. Welcome to Build a Strong Mind. This is about becoming unbreakable. Chapter 1. Why most people break. Let me ask you something. Why do some people seem mentally invincible, while others fall a captor at the smallest setback? Same world, same pressure, same uncertainty, different results. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not luck. It's conditioning. Most people never train their minds. They train comfort. They avoid discomfort. They escape boredom. They run from silence. They numb stress instead of mastering it. And then they're surprised when pressure exposes them. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. If you've never practiced being uncomfortable, you will not survive when life demands it. Mental weakness doesn't show up during easy days. It shows up when things don't go your way. When plans collapse, when people disappoint you, when progress is slow, when effort goes unrewarded. That's when the untrained mind panics. It complains, it quits, it looks for excuses, it looks for someone to blame. A strong mind does the opposite. It adapts, it stays calm, it moves forward anyway. And that difference is built, not born. Chapter 2. The Lie About Strength. Most people think mental strength means never feeling fear, never feeling doubt, never feeling overwhelmed. That's a lie. Mental strength is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to act correctly despite emotion. You will feel fear. You will feel resistance. You will feel tired, frustrated, and uncertain. The strong mind doesn't eliminate those feelings. It overrides them. It says, I feel this, and I move anyway. Weak minds obey emotion. Strong minds observe emotion. That distinction changes everything. Your thoughts are not commands. Your emotions are not orders. They are signals, nothing more. And the moment you stop treating them as rulers, you take your power back. Chapter 3. Control starts with a decision. Mental strength begins with one decision. I am responsible for my mind. Not your past, not your parents, not your environment, not your circumstances, you. Most people wait for life to be easier before they become stronger. Strong people become stronger so life feels easier. You don't build a strong mind when things are calm. You build it when resistance appears. And you don't run. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy thing, you cast a vote for strength. Every time you delay gratification, you sharpen discipline. Every time you stay focused when distraction is available, you train control. This isn't dramatic. It's daily, it's boring, it's repetitive. And that's why it works. Chapter 4. Discipline is the foundation. Motivation will fail you. It comes and goes. It rises and disappears. It is emotional, not reliable. Discipline is different. Discipline does not ask how you feel. It asks what must be done. A strong mind does not negotiate with itself every morning. It has rules. Rules remove emotion from decisions. I work even when I don't feel like it. I train even when I'm tired. I stay focused even when distracted. That's not punishment. That's freedom. Because when discipline runs your life, chaos doesn't. Chapter 5. The Silent Power of Self-Control. The strongest people you know are not loud. They don't explain themselves. They don't react impulsively. They pause. They think. They choose. That pause between stimulus and response is where power lives. Most people give that power away. They react instantly. They speak emotionally. They act without thinking. A strong mind creates space, and in that space, you win. This is only the beginning, because once you understand how the mind breaks, you can begin rebuilding it stronger than before. And next, we're going to talk about the daily habits that silently separate the mentally elite from everyone else. The habits that look small, but create unshakable strength. Chapter 2/10. The habits you repeat every day are quietly shaping who you become. Not the big decisions you make once in a while, not the dramatic turning points, the small, almost invisible behaviors you practice when no one is watching. That's where mental strength is forged. And that's where most people fail. Chapter 6. The daily habits that create mental power. Here's something most people misunderstand. They think strong-minded people wake up feeling powerful, focused, driven, certain. They don't. They wake up human. They feel resistance. They feel doubt. They feel the same pull toward comfort everyone else feels. The difference is not what they feel. It's what they do despite how they feel. A strong mind is built through non-negotiables. Simple rules that you follow even when you don't want to. You wake up when you said you would. You move your body even when it's uncomfortable. You work on what matters before distractions get a chance. Not because it feels good, because you decided it matters. Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, you reinforce trust in your own mind. And self-trust is the backbone of confidence. When you can rely on yourself, you don't need external motivation. Chapter 7. Why comfort is your greatest enemy. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels warm, familiar, predictable, and that's exactly why it weakens you. Comfort tells your mind you don't need to adapt. But adaptation is strength. Growth only happens when the nervous system is challenged, when the mind is forced to respond instead of relax. The strongest minds intentionally choose discomfort. They take cold showers not for toughness, but for control. They sit in silence not for peace, but for awareness. They push through difficult conversations not for conflict, but for clarity. Comfort numbs the mind. Discomfort sharpens it, and the more often you lean into discomfort by choice, the less power discomfort has over you when it arrives uninvited. Chapter 8. Your inner dialogue is training you. You are always talking to yourself. In traffic, at work, when things go wrong, when things go right. And most people have no idea how destructive their inner dialogue has become. They criticize themselves constantly. They replay mistakes. They exaggerate problems. They weaken themselves with words. A strong mind guards its internal language, not with fake positivity, with precision. Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," it says, "This is uncomfortable and temporary." Instead of saying, "I'm failing," it says, "I'm learning." Words shape perception. Perception shapes emotion. Emotion drives behavior. Change the dialogue, and you change the outcome. This is not motivational talk. This is mental conditioning. Chapter 9. Focus is a weapon. Most people think focus is about productivity. It's not. Focus is about control. Every time you let your attention wander, you train your mind to obey distraction. Every time you stay locked on one task, you strengthen command. The modern world is designed to fracture attention. Notifications, noise, endless information. A strong mind is selective. It chooses what deserves attention and ignores the rest without guilt. Because attention is energy, and wherever your attention goes, your life follows. Chapter 10. The discipline of doing nothing. Here's a paradox few people understand. Sometimes mental strength is built by doing less, sitting still, breathing slowly, observing thoughts without reacting. This is where impulse dies. When you can sit with discomfort without immediately escaping it, you develop emotional resilience. You stop reacting automatically. You start responding intentionally, and that shift changes everything. You are beginning to see the pattern. Mental strength is not dramatic. It is repetitive, quiet, intentional. And in the next part, we're going to confront the hardest truth of all: why most people sabotage themselves, even when they know better, and how to break that pattern permanently. Chapter 3/10. There is a silent enemy living inside almost every person. It doesn't shout. It doesn't attack head-on. It whispers. And if you don't learn to recognize it, it will quietly run your life. Chapter 11. The hidden pattern of self-sabotage. Most people don't fail because they lack intelligence. They don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because, at the moment it matters most, they betray themselves. They procrastinate when action is required. They quit when pressure rises. They distract themselves when focus is needed. And the most dangerous part? They justify it. I'll start tomorrow. I'm just tired today. I deserve a break. Self-sabotage rarely looks like destruction. It looks like permission. A strong mind doesn't argue with excuses. It exposes them. It asks one question: is this moving me forward or protecting my comfort? That question alone can change the trajectory of your life. Chapter 12. Why discipline feels painful at first. Discipline feels uncomfortable because your brain is wired for efficiency. It wants to conserve energy. It wants predictable patterns. It wants immediate reward. Discipline disrupts that. When you choose effort over ease, your brain resists. That resistance is not a signal to stop. It's proof you're rewiring yourself. Every disciplined action creates new neural pathways. Every repeated action strengthens them. At first, discipline feels heavy. Then it feels normal. Eventually, it feels empowering. The pain is temporary. The strength is permanent. Chapter 13. Emotional control is the real power. Most people believe strength is physical, or financial, or social. But real power is emotional. Can you stay calm when disrespected? Can you stay focused when distracted? Can you stay disciplined when bored? If your emotions control you, everything else controls you too. A strong mind observes emotions without obeying them. Anger becomes information, not action. Fear becomes awareness, not paralysis. Stress becomes a signal, not a sentence. You don't eliminate emotions, you master your response to them, and that mastery separates leaders from followers. Chapter 14. The pause that changes everything. There is a moment between stimulus and response. Most people rush through it. Strong minds live inside it. That pause, even one breath long, creates choice. Choice creates power. When something triggers you, pause. When you feel impulsive, pause. When you want to react, pause. In that space, you reclaim control. You stop being predictable. You stop being reactive. You stop being weak. Chapter 15. Building mental endurance. Mental endurance is not built through inspiration. It's built through repetition under pressure. Doing the hard thing when motivation is low. Showing up when results are invisible. Staying consistent when progress is slow. This is where most people quit. Because endurance is boring, uncelebrated, lonely. But endurance creates inevitability. And inevitability is unstoppable. You are no longer just hearing ideas. You are being trained. In the next part, we will talk about identity. Why changing what you do is not enough, and how to become the kind of person who cannot quit. This is where the transformation becomes permanent. Chapter 4. Out of 10. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. This is where most people get trapped. They try to do disciplined things while still thinking like an undisciplined person. They want strong results without becoming a strong individual. That contradiction is why change never lasts. Chapter 16. Identity comes before discipline. You don't act based on what you want. You act based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who tries, you will quit when it gets uncomfortable. If you see yourself as someone who starts, you will stop when it gets boring. But if you see yourself as someone who finishes, your behavior changes automatically. Strong minds don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" They ask, "What does someone like me do in this situation?" Identity simplifies decisions, and simplicity creates consistency. Chapter 17. Why most people can't stay consistent. Consistency fails because identity is weak. People rely on motivation. Motivation is emotional. Emotions fluctuate. Discipline is structural. It doesn't depend on mood. It doesn't wait for confidence. It doesn't negotiate. Strong minds build systems that function even when willpower is gone. They reduce friction. They remove options. They design their environment to support discipline. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer escape routes. Chapter 18. The cost of uncontrolled thoughts. Every thought has a cost. Negative thoughts drain energy. Doubt delays action. Overthinking kills momentum. Most people let thoughts roam freely like untrained animals. Strong minds put thoughts on a leash. They question them. They challenge them. They replace them. Not with fake positivity, but with useful truth. What's the next productive action? What's actually in my control? What matters right now? That is mental discipline in real time. Chapter 19. Focus is a weapon. Distraction is not accidental, it's profitable. Every notification steals attention. Every comparison weakens confidence. Every scroll fragments your mind. A strong mind guards focus ruthlessly. It understands this truth. What you focus on expands. What you ignore disappears. Focus is not about doing more. It's about eliminating noise. And the person who controls their focus controls their future. Chapter 20. When no one is watching, character is revealed in private. Not when people are cheering. Not when results are visible. But when it's quiet. When no one knows. When quitting would be easy. This is where strong minds are forged. They train when no one applauds. They prepare when no one notices. They build strength in silence. Because they understand something most people don't. The work you do in private is what protects you in public. You are no longer learning how to be motivated. You are learning how to be unshakable. In the next part, we will go deeper into pressure, how strong minds respond when life hits back, and why adversity is not your enemy but your greatest advantage. Stay with this. This is where weakness is replaced with certainty. Chapter 5 out of 10. Pressure doesn't break strong minds. It reveals them. What cracks you under pressure was already weak before the pressure arrived. That's the truth most people avoid. Chapter 21. Pressure is a mirror. When life tightens its grip, it shows you exactly who you are. Pressure exposes habits. Pressure exposes thought patterns. Pressure exposes discipline, or the lack of it. Weak minds panic. They rush. They react emotionally. Strong minds slow down. They breathe. They assess. They choose their response deliberately. Because strength is not loud. It is controlled. Chapter 22. The pause that saves you between stimulus and response. There is a moment. That moment is power. Most people lose it. They react instantly. They speak too fast. They decide too quickly. Strong minds protect that pause. They don't let emotions hijack logic. They don't confuse urgency with importance. They ask one question. What is the smartest move here? Not the fastest, not the most emotional, the smartest. Chapter 23. Mental endurance is trained. Mental strength is not inherited. It is built. Every time you do something hard instead of something easy, you are training endurance. Every time you stay focused when your mind wants to escape, you are strengthening control. You don't wake up unbreakable. You earn it. One decision at a time, one uncomfortable moment at a time. Chapter 24. Stop running from discomfort. Discomfort is not danger. Your mind treats it like a threat, but it's actually a signal that growth is happening. Weak minds run from discomfort. Strong minds lean into it. They understand this rule. The life you want is on the other side of what you avoid. Discomfort is temporary. Regret is permanent. Chapter 25. Discipline during chaos. Anyone can be disciplined when life is calm. Strong minds stay disciplined when everything is falling apart. They keep routines simple. They focus on basics. They don't try to be perfect. They stay consistent, because consistency beats intensity every single time. You are no longer just building habits. You are building stability. In the next part, we will talk about self-talk, the silent dialogue that either builds your mind or slowly destroys it from within. Pay attention, because your mind is always listening. Chapter 6 out of 10. Your biggest enemy is not the world. It is the voice you listen to when no one is watching. Chapter 26. The voice that shapes you. You are never silent inside. Even in stillness, your mind is speaking, commenting, judging, predicting outcomes before they happen. That voice decides whether you rise or retreat. Most people let it run wild, unchecked, untrained, undisciplined. Strong minds take control of it. Chapter 27. Self-talk is self-programming. Every sentence you repeat internally becomes a belief. I can't. I'm not ready. This is too hard. Those are not thoughts. They are commands. Your nervous system listens. Your actions follow. Strong minds replace emotional language with neutral, factual language. Instead of "I'm overwhelmed," they say, "I have priorities to organize." Instead of "I'm failing," they say, "I'm adjusting strategy." Language is leverage. Chapter 28. Emotional control is not suppression. Strong minds do not deny emotion. They manage it. They feel fear, but don't obey it. They feel anger, but don't act on it. They feel doubt, but don't surrender to it. Emotion is information, not instruction. Weak minds confuse the two. Chapter 29. The discipline of calm. Calm is not passive. Calm is powerful. When others panic, you observe. When others react, you respond. This is not talent, it is trained restraint. Calm comes from knowing you can handle discomfort without losing control. Chapter 30. Mental boundaries. Strong minds protect their attention. They don't argue with everyone. They don't explain themselves endlessly. They don't absorb every opinion. They choose what enters their mind the same way they choose what enters their body. Not everything deserves access. You are no longer reacting to life. You are governing yourself. In the next part, we will go deeper into resilience. How strong minds recover faster, adapt quicker, and come back sharper after setbacks. Because strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you rise. Chapter 7. Out of 10. Strength is not built in comfort. It is built in recovery. Chapter 31. The difference between breaking and bending. Everyone gets hit. Failure, rejection, loss, unexpected setbacks. The weak break, the strong bend, and return. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about how fast you stabilize after it. Strong minds don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What is this teaching me?" Chapter 32. Mental recovery speed. Most people don't lose because they fail. They lose because they stay down too long. They replay the mistake, rehearse the embarrassment, relive the disappointment. Strong minds shorten recovery time. They acknowledge the emotion, extract the lesson, then move forward immediately. No drama, no self-pity. Forward motion is healing. Chapter 33. Detachment from outcomes. Strong minds commit fully, but detach emotionally from outcomes. They give everything without tying their identity to success or failure. Why? Because attachment creates fear. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation kills execution. You perform best when your self-worth is not on the line. Chapter 34. Turning setbacks into structure. Every setback reveals a weakness, not to shame you, but to show you where to grow. Missed a deadline? Your system failed. Lost motivation? Your habits were fragile, burned out, your boundaries were weak. Strong minds build systems, not excuses. Chapter 35. The Comeback Mentality. Resilient people don't bounce back. They bounce forward. They return smarter, more disciplined, less emotional. Pain sharpens them instead of scarring them. This is a choice. Chapter 36. Stress is a training tool. Stress is not the enemy. Unmanaged stress is. Strong minds use stress as resistance training for the brain. Pressure exposes priorities. Deadlines reveal discipline. Chaos shows character. You don't rise when things are easy. You reveal who you are when they're not. Chapter 37. Mental Endurance. Endurance is staying focused when motivation disappears, when excitement fades, when progress feels invisible. Strong minds don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What does this version of me do?" And then they do it. You are not here to be fragile. You are here to be durable. In the next part, we'll go deeper into mental identity. How to become the kind of person who no longer negotiates with weakness. Because once your identity changes, your behavior follows. Chapter 8. Out of 10. You don't become strong by accident. You become strong by decision. And the most powerful decision you will ever make is the one about who you are. Chapter 38. Identity comes before discipline. Most people try to change behavior first. They say, "I'll try harder. I'll push more. I'll force myself." Strong minds do the opposite. They change identity first. They don't say, "I'm trying to be disciplined." They say, "I am disciplined." And then they act accordingly. Your behavior will always chase your identity. Chapter 39. Stop negotiating with your mind. Weak minds negotiate. "I'll do it tomorrow. Just this once. I deserve a break." Strong minds issue commands. They don't debate with weakness. They don't entertain excuses. They don't ask permission from emotions. They decide once, then execute without discussion. Every negotiation strengthens the wrong voice. Chapter 40. The Internal Leader. Inside you are two forces. One wants comfort. The other wants growth. One avoids pain. The other seeks progress. Strong minds put a leader in charge. They don't let emotions run the schedule. They don't let moods dictate actions. They lead themselves, firmly, calmly, consistently. Chapter 41. Becoming unbotherable. Strong minds are hard to shake, not because they don't feel, but because they don't overreact. They pause before responding. They breathe before speaking. They think before acting. They understand this truth. Reaction gives away power. Response preserves it. Chapter 42. Mental Boundaries. You don't need to attend every argument. You don't need to answer every message. You don't need to explain every decision. Strong minds protect their energy the same way they protect their time. They say no without guilt. They walk away without drama. They choose peace over proving points. Chapter 43. The Cost of Emotional Leaks. Every emotional outburst costs you focus, credibility, respect. Strong minds stay neutral under pressure, not cold, controlled. Because control is power that never needs to announce itself. Chapter 44. The Silent Confidence. Real confidence doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't brag. It doesn't argue. It doesn't chase validation. It shows up prepared. It stays consistent. It lets results speak. Strong minds don't need approval. They trust their process. Chapter 45. Mental Cleanliness. What you consume becomes what you think. Strong minds are selective. They limit noise. They reduce negativity. They guard their inputs. Because a clean mind produces clear decisions. You are not here to be reactive. You are here to be rooted. In the next part, we will talk about long-term dominance. How strong minds stay consistent for years, not days. Because strength that fades was never real strength. Chapter 9/10. Strength that lasts is built slowly, quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. This is where most people fail, not because they can't start, but because they can't sustain. Chapter 46. The long game mentality. Weak minds think in days. Strong minds think in decades. They ask different questions. Not, how do I feel today? But, who do I want to be in 10 years? They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term leverage. That's why they win quietly, while others burn out loudly. Chapter 47. Consistency over intensity. Intensity feels powerful. Consistency creates power. Strong minds don't rely on motivation spikes. They rely on systems. They show up when it's boring. They work when no one is watching. They repeat what works, even when it feels ordinary. Because ordinary actions performed daily create extraordinary results. Chapter 48. Discipline when no one is watching. This is where strength is forged. In empty rooms, early mornings, late nights. Strong minds don't need applause. They train in silence. They prepare in isolation. They master themselves in private. Public confidence is built on private discipline. Chapter 49. Emotional endurance. Life will test you. Loss, rejection, failure, betrayal. Strong minds don't break. They adapt. They allow emotions to pass without letting them take control. They feel deeply but act deliberately. Pain becomes information. Pressure becomes fuel. Chapter 50. Mental recovery. Strength is not constant tension. Strong minds know when to push and when to recover. They rest strategically, not impulsively. They recharge without guilt because they understand. Burnout is weakness disguised as ambition. Recovery is chapter of dominance. Chapter 51. The power of routine. Chaos weakens the mind. Routine stabilizes it. Strong minds build simple structures. Wake, train, work, reflect, sleep. Nothing flashy, nothing complicated, just repeatable systems that remove decision fatigue and protect mental energy. Chapter 52. Detachment from outcomes. Strong minds focus on effort, not reward. They don't obsess over results. They trust the process, because obsession creates anxiety, and anxiety clouds judgment. When you detach from outcomes, you gain clarity. And clarity is strength. Chapter 53. The unseen advantage. While others complain, you prepare. While others react, you refine. While others quit, you adapt. Strong minds gain advantage long before success becomes visible. By the time people notice, it's already over. You are closer than you think. In the final part, we will bring everything together. Identity, discipline, control, endurance, and lock in the mindset of someone who cannot be shaken. This is not motivation. This is mental finality. Chapter 10/10. Final. This is where it all comes together. Not as hype, not as noise, but as identity. Because the strongest minds don't just do discipline, they are disciplined. They don't chase control. They live in control. Chapter 54. The final shift. From trying to being trying is fragile. Trying depends on mood. Trying depends on energy. Trying depends on circumstances. Being does not. Strong minds stop trying to be focused. They become focused. They stop trying to be calm. They become calm. They stop trying to be disciplined. They become disciplined. Identity eliminates resistance. Chapter 55. You are what you tolerate. Read this slowly. Your life is a reflection of what you allow to continue. Distractions you tolerate, excuses you justify, standards you lower. Strong minds tolerate nothing that weakens their future. They remove what drains them, even if it's comfortable. Especially if it's comfortable. Chapter 56. The power of no. Every yes costs something. Time, energy, focus, momentum. Strong minds say no easily because they say yes intentionally. They protect their mind like a weapon. Because focus is not infinite, and discipline must be guarded. Chapter 57. Self-respect as a daily practice. Confidence is built after action. Self-respect is built through consistency. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your mind grows stronger. Every time you quit, it weakens. Strong minds don't rely on motivation. They rely on self-trust. And self-trust is earned. Chapter 58. When life pushes back. It will. Expect resistance. The stronger you become, the harder life tests you. Not to stop you, but to confirm who you are. Strong minds don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What is this trying to build in me?" Chapter 59. The Unbreakable Core. There comes a point where chaos no longer shakes you, where pressure no longer scares you. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. That is the goal. Not comfort, not ease, but stability under pressure. Chapter 60. The Final Command. Listen carefully. No one is coming to save you. No one is responsible for your mind but you. No one will build this strength for you. And that is not a curse. That is power. Because once you master your mind, nothing else can control you. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You already know what to do. Now do it, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. If this audiobook strengthened you, share the line that hit you hardest. And tell us, what mindset should we build next? This is not the end. This is the standard.